Most founders make their first hire and then they spend the next 90 to 180 days like wondering why everything got more complicated, not less. It's not because you made the wrong hire, it's just because you weren't set up properly to actually make that hire in the first place. There are three things that actually need to happen before you make that first hire. And we're going to walk through all of those right now. Number one, it sounds super simple, but it's something that actually most founders, especially when they're making their first hires for their business, actually skip. Get clear on what you actually need in your business before you make a single job post or you reach out to that VA or EA agency. Most founders actually hire in one of two ways. They either hire for a job title that they already have in their head, they heard when they were in the corporate world, or they just hire for that virtual or executive assistant without knowing what they really do, or they hire for pure relief. They just know they can't continue on in the same way that they have before. They need to get someone or something, anyone to take stuff off of their plate without being super clear in what that actually looks like for them and their business. And one of the most common mistakes that I see is that founders actually elevate someone internally into like a director level role when that person is actually just doing a bunch of tasks. Here's the thing, no matter how much you want to elevate someone into that role or they want to be elevated into that role, a director leads people. They own a strategic vision. They own a part of your business, and they should be able to lead the people that actually handle the tasks and do the things in your business. If you need a doer, that's a virtual or executive assistant role. It is not a director level role. And those are very different hires with very different price points. So before you post anything, I want you to get honest about two questions. Do you need a leader? Do you need someone who can actually manage a team of people to own an actual strategic outcome in your business? Or do you just need a doer? Do you just need someone who is skilled at executing tasks if you define them out really well? If you need a doer, that's a virtual or executive assistant role. And what most founders don't realize is that offshore talent can handle so much of the work that you actually need done in the beginning phases. And then it can actually handle a lot of the tasks for the people that are already working in your business. They can handle bookkeeping. They can handle a lot of the marketing tasks. They can handle most of the admin tasks. They can even handle project setup and management if you can train them properly. It is a massively underestimated market that most founders don't effectively know how to leverage. The skill level is there, I promise. What is required is someone to actually manage those people well. So you have a decision to make. Do you outsource a particular function within your company to a 1099 contractor that has their own team? Nobody should be living and working in your business in this function anymore. Is it somebody that will actually manage the execution and deliver the outcomes to you? Or do you build this internally? Do you hire someone directly and manage it yourself? That virtual or executive assistant that we talked about. You will become the manager. You're going to build out the systems. This is more hands-on upfront, but it actually sets you up for a greater amount of success in the long run. The path that you're going to choose here, that really depends on the stage of business that you're at. But you cannot answer that question until you get clear first in the gap. Okay, number two, get clear on your project management system before you actually hire anyone into your business. If you're bringing on a VA or an EA, you are going to need a project management system set up before they even start. It doesn't have to be a perfect setup, it just has to exist. You have to have somewhere they can go and very clearly understand what it is that they need to do and where you can go and have direct visibility into what's actually happening. None of this should be living in your inbox, in your Slack threads, or anywhere else in your business. It needs to live, breathe, and stay in your project management system. Now, if you're bringing in a fractional leader or a 1099 contractor to handle part of your work, you've got to decide upfront if they're going to actually be in and live in your project management system or if they have their own and they're just delivering to you a key set of deliverables every single day, week, month, whatever that time frame is. The key here is to get clear in all of this from day one. So ask them before you sign anything with them. Are you going to be working in my system? Am I going to have direct visibility into everything that you're doing? Or do you have your own system set up and you're just delivering me a key set of items every single, again, week, day, month, whatever that cadence actually is and looks like for you? And if they're managing all of the work on their end, you need to have some clarity in what reporting looks like and when you're going to get it. That should be an agreement that the two of you are making together. Look, ambiguity here is where things can go sideways really, really quickly. One clear conversation before anyone starts in any position is going to save you a ton of time every single week and month. And look, the right AI tools can save you a ton of time here. You can set up all of this in just a fraction of the time. Better yet, have that virtual or executive assistant do that for you. The link is in the description. Go ahead and watch that video now. And number three, before you post any jobs, before you reach out to that BA or EA agency, I want you to go into your AI platform of choice, have a brain dump about what it is that you actually want to get off of your plate. So go open up Claude, ChatGPT, whatever it is that you use, and have an actual conversation with them. Tell it the 10 things that you hate doing the most, or tell it the 10 things that's eating up all of your mental energy that you just want to get off your plate, the skill sets that you don't want to learn because they don't really apply to the rest of it, what it is that you do to service your clients. And then I want you to ask it, if this was one cohesive role, what would it look like? What would be the list of responsibilities? Is it something that an offshore virtual or executive assistant could handle for me? What would the timeline and the actions be or look like to actually turn all of this over to them? Because sometimes when you just dump everything out, you start to realize that it's very clearly actually just a virtual or executive assistant role that you need. And that is going to save you a ton of cash in the long run. And after you've created this type of clarity for yourself, you can now start to create that type of clarity for them. Other times you realize that you actually do need support in an entire function of your business. So marketing or finance or operations. And that looks like you need to start to look at bringing in that fractional leader that has a team of their own who can actually exponentially expedite your growth internally in your own business. If you can't clearly articulate 10 things that you want to get off your plate, look, you're not ready to make any hires yet. You don't have the clarity in what your business is and where it's going enough that you can actually create that first hire into existence. So I need you to go back to the drawing board and really start to think through what it is that you actually need. And the bonus here in doing all of this work in step 3 is that once you have this list of the 10 things, you have the very beginnings of your actual onboarding plan for that new person. And you have the very beginnings of those first SOPs that you need to create. And you have the very beginnings of the project management system and its internal setup to actually have this role be successful and have you have visibility into what's happening in your business. 3 very simple things that you can do before you hire internally into your business. And look, if you've already made those hires, you can still do these 3 things to make sure that your roles are actually the ones you need within your business. But first, define that gap before you create a title or a name for what it is that you want. Get clear on the project management system that you are going to use. Go ahead and initiate the setup and start to think about how you want it to be internally organized. And finally, use AI to surface the top 10 things that you actually want to hand off and get off of your plate. We all know there are things that drain us so much more than the other activities that we have to do when we're a founder wearing all of the hats. And if you want to go a little bit deeper on all of this, including a 4th thing that most founders skip entirely and the full framework for figuring out exactly what you need to hand off first, go watch the whole full length video. I will link it in the descriptions and put it in the comments. And if you want to run your own time in team diagnostic, then go ahead and take the 3 T's audit, the 3 T's diagnostic that I've also linked in the description right now. It'll tell you not only what you should look at handing off first, but it'll actually calculate the dollars that you're wasting by not handing off those things to the right person. And finally, take the time really quick to subscribe to my newsletter. I send out 1 email per week with what I'm seeing inside real founder issues that exist either in my own business or with the clients that I have worked with now or in the past 2 decades. So it's practical stuff like how to get out of technician mode, start to make those changes into CEO mode. I send out a set of tips and tricks every single week to start to elevate you out of the role of doer and into the role of leader. That link is also in the descriptions.